any chance you all could feature a special episode for single income docs with large families, i.e. 4 to 5 plus kids early in their careers? Thanks. Well, that's me, right? I mean, I was a single income doc for a long time until Katie started working for the White Coat Investor a few years ago. And I guess we're a large family. It doesn't feel like a large family here in Utah, but we have 4 kids. And so for a long time, we're, in early career. And so I feel like I can talk about this from personal experience. It doesn't seem very unusual at all to me. I guess there's lots of dual income families. There's lots of 2 doc families out there. There's obviously lots of families with fewer kids than we have. But this seems like regular life to me. So can you make it as a single income doc with a large family? Absolutely. I mean, look at me, right? I came out of residency in 2006. Yes, I didn't have student loans, but I was also only making $120,000. That's all the military was paying me, $120,000 a year. It was a little bit tax advantaged, but at $120,000 a year, there's only so much tax you'd be paying anyway. And we had 1 kid when I got out of residency. Katie was pregnant with our second one, and a couple of years later, we had our third one. So there we were, living in a little townhome, trying to live like a resident for a few more years to build some wealth, and pumping out the kids. I was driving a beater, a true beater. Katie had a nicer car she was driving, and then about 3 years out, we bought a Sequoia that I'm actually still driving. But what advice can I give you in this situation? Well, here's the deal. The average American household's making about $60,000. So even if you're on a single physician income, you're probably making at least $150,000, probably more like $200,000, maybe $300,000. That's 5 times the average American household income, the median American household income. And so there's still plenty of money there with which to build wealth. Now, you've got a few things hanging over your head. Chances are, if you went through training with a bunch of kids, you probably got more debt than the average bear. And so you need a plan to take care of that. And it's a little bit harder to live like a resident when you have a bunch of mouths to feed as well. And so maybe you have to give yourself a little more of a raise when you come out of residency than you otherwise would. But you've still got to hold the line. You still got to take care of business. You got to save up a down payment for your dream home. You got to pay off those student loans within 2 to 5 years. You got to start maxing out those retirement accounts and catching up to your college roommates. And the way you do that is holding the line on your spending and doing what you can to get your income up. Now, a lot of times that means a buy-in to a partnership. Maybe for a dentist, it means buying a practice. Maybe it means working a lot of hours. Live like a resident doesn't just reflect your spending. It also reflects your hours. And the harder you work in the beginning, the easier things get by mid-career. You also have fewer retirement accounts available. You can still do a spousal backdoor Roth IRA, of course, but you don't have 2 401ks. You're certainly not going to get a spouse's 401a or 403b or 457 or defined benefit plan or whatever. But chances are, at this point, you're probably only maxing out retirement accounts anyway. It's pretty hard to get a lot of savings above and beyond that while you're still taking care of student loans. So those are your big focuses. Keep your family first. But at the same time, you've got to keep a lid on the spending or you'll get in trouble. And by mid-career, you'll be like a lot of docs I know. I know a doc with 7 kids who's same stage of career as me, working 16 night shifts a month. And why? Because they spend a whole lot more money than we do. And that's the life they've chosen. But he's going to be working a full career and probably not having nearly as nice of a retirement. Now, the kids are having a pretty nice life right now, but there are consequences to living your life like that. So when the kids are young, they don't know the difference, and you might as well save some money. Hope that's helpful. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA. or click the link in the description.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dolly, is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.